So this one's more player based, less coaching based. Um, can you ask me, has any advice for someone who's stuck in gold?
So somebody who's stuck in gold, I would say first and foremost is whatever you're doing, slow down. Um, the things I would say to do is the easiest way to improve is whenever you respawn, like we were saying, kind of where you kind of want to pause, look at where your teammate indicators are on the map, and then figure out how to, so there's two things actually. So number one is every time you respawn, take a different route through the map than you would usually take. So if I'm on recharge and I spawn back A, every time I spawn back A, I go bottom control. Try to mix it up where, okay, I spawn back A, I'm going to go Mangler Pit, I'm going to go Red Hall, I'm going to go Needles. Try to start doing those different things. And then, like I said, then you want to pay attention to your teammate indicator and then pay attention to where they are. That'll kind of start telling you where the other team is. And then that way, you'll start building the kind of knowledge that it takes to say, okay, my teammate indicators are in this area of the map, so I know I want to take this route to get to them um, in order to help as much as I can. That'll also slow down your gameplay and just make it so that way and you're not getting caught running into a situation you're not prepared. I would also say sprint less.
Sprint less. Well, also, there's no shame in ratting out. If
Hmm.
three of your teammates die and you just need to find a hole because it's better if you stay alive to plan with your team rather than you running in and dying, and now you've got four people on respawn.
Yeah, or I mean, even if you want, I would say if once you go down, if you're down a shot in a gunfight, run away. I don't care where you go. Just go away from that gunfight and wait for your shields to recharge. And that should help you a lot.
There's no shame in backing off from a gunfight, especially 1v1. It's better to pester people. As long as
Yep.
you're doing damage, usually when I'm playing with a team, when we're done with the match, I'll always look at the damage and see who was putting out damage and who wasn't. It's not the best indicator all the time, but if someone's putting out damage, but they have like, maybe 10 kills and like 13 deaths, but then they have like 5k damage, you're like, okay, well, clearly they were working with the team. They were putting out damage, they were suppressing people, whether they couldn't finish it or they got flanked. Like recharge, if you're putting out damage on
Yep.
top control, someone loops through hydro, no one notices, you can get killed. A couple times that happens, and you're gonna go negative in your KD. But if you're putting out that damage, then that means your team can clean that up, and they can still win with someone who goes negative as long as they're doing their job.
Yep. Even if you want, what stats you should pay attention to, like you were saying, you want to have you want to try to have the most damage done, least damage taken, and the highest average life. When I first started competing, I had a friend who in Halo 3 was like all mixed in with the competitive scene. And the first thing he told me was, this is in Halo 4. And he said, he's like, hey man, like you should really focus on like getting your average life up. And I literally laughed at him and was like, you're old, you're washed, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm better than you. And like throughout my career, I realized like that is like such a valuable stat is your average life. Like the longer you can stay alive, like the more you can help the team.
Oh, for sure. Like if you are what's the death screen? 5 seconds, 10 seconds, somewhere around those.
Yeah, like yeah.
It's like that's 5 seconds you're not with your team, and your team can't do much
Yep.
unless you
It,
get
it
that trade and they're at the 3v3. If they're on a 4v3, your team is not at a massive disadvantage, and they have to wait for you to come back. And in
yeah,
matchmaking,
not
that's
every
never
kill
going to happen.
matters. Like people there's people value kills way too much. Not I mean,
So does the algorithm.
I I in Halo Infinite, I have played with people where in an oddball game we have had a combined 90 kills and we have lost.
Yeah,
Like,
I went, one of my favorite ones to talk about is like I dropped a 40 bomb and had over a minute and a half of ball time, and I was top of the
yeah,
board and we lost.
yep.
I was like, how am I doing a minute and a half of ball time, dropping 40 kills, and we're still losing? I'm like, that's a whole round where I got the win. Like we won
Yeah.
one
I mean,
round, and then I just put in
something
the Lord's
they
work. What's happening?
say in football is the best ability is availability,
Yeah,
and that translates to Halo. Like if you're not available to help your team because you're on your death screen, not able to help your team.
it's so important. I mean, I need to work on playing my life more because like my average time is like 35, 40 seconds, and
Yeah.
obviously I need
Yeah,
to get
that's
it up.
usually what most people's averages are. You have a really good game if you hit like 53 seconds or more.
Exactly. But it's something that I recognize. Like I know,
Hmm.
okay, yeah, I need to work on that, and at least I know how.
Yeah.
Do we have any more questions from the chat before we close things out? That was a really good one.
Yeah.
Let's see. What up? Took your girls home? How you doing? Cozy saying that he still Gandhi hops to this day. He said old habits die hard.
They really do. It's real tough.
And dude, and especially since that was the key in Halo 3, man.
Yeah.
You
They
hop.
had like USA Network breakdowns of like how to Gandhi hop in Halo
Yeah.
2.
Yeah. Oh, it's so hard to break. What do you think is the most overlooked skill in a Halo that you need to be? What do you think is the most overlooked skill in Halo that you need to be a successful player? It's got to be.
So
It's got to be
so
live your life, right? Or what do you think? What do you think? You might have something
my
better than me.
yeah, my answer isn't a skill. My answer is a thought process.
Okay.
A lot of players think that by playing a lot you get better. I, used to do that as well. Um, I used to just play a whole lot and was like, I'll get better by doing this. Um,
Which,
the
to be fair,
reality
will help you to an
to
extent,
to an extent,
but you will plateau
the
fast.
reality is that when you're playing, you should, use matchmaking as practice. Matchmaking doesn't matter. Your rank doesn't matter. When Optic wins champs, they're not saying Optic is, your grand, your world champions, and they're all Onyx in matchmaking. It doesn't matter. So don't worry about your rank. What you should be doing is, one thing that you think that you want to work on or get better at. And while you're playing specifically, work on that one thing. It could be, okay, every time I'm starting to lose a gunfight, I want to stay alive. Or it could be something like, I want to make sure that, I'm using all the weapons on the map. So anytime I pass a weapon, pick it up. Um, it could be, every time, um, I pull a flag, I want to make sure, I'm pulling it this way through the map. Pick one thing and work on that one thing while you're playing, and then that will let you start, stacking improvements, and it'll let you, really start to get. I mean, when you're intentionally working on something, you get a lot better than just playing a lot, and you might get better in some areas just
I've always
by
told
playing a lot. But
people play with a purpose
exactly,
because you could just play lots of matchmaking, but if you're not playing with a purpose, you're never going to improve.
yeah,
So it could be working on your aim,
yep,
or it could be there's a couple that I thought of which might be some good tips, which is obviously one is just play your life, know when to back down. Like if you don't have to 1v1, don't do it. You
yep,
can put a few shots of them and then take cover
yeah,
because then they're weak. Your team could potentially pick them up. So if you don't know if you have that cross, just duck around cover. Always make sure you
yep,
have somewhere to go. Have an
hmm
escape plan. Um,
and that's where like the individual coaching like a Medify is a great platform because now instead of again players don't know what they don't know. So
exactly.
having somebody who can watch you and knows what areas you should work on first and kind of give you priority lists and ways to do that and really isolate where you're improving and how you're improving um, helps a ton. I mean, I had one session with somebody the other day, and they came back and said that in less than a week, they went up 1.5 ranks or a rank and a half rather, just from saying, hey, like you do these things really well, but like here's what you need to work on. So between now and then, do these things when you play, um, and see what happens. And they go up a rank and a half.
I've hit the point where my MMR is hitting where my CSR is, so I'm going up less each
Hmm.
rank or each game.
And losing more with each loss.
Yeah, but then the other night I went, okay, so I know what I need to work on, so I'm going to focus on. And for me, again, it was playing my life. I'm going to focus on pulling out earlier on 1v1s, not trying to stick it out. Especially, I'm playing in Sweden and I usually play with Americans, so my ping's between
Yeah.
100 and 180.
Uh,
So I can hear the gunshot go off on my game and it's not going to register.
yeah. Yeah. That's
And
brutal.
we constantly have this debate with my friends on, did I lose the gunfight because just outplayed, got outdanced,
Yeah.
or did I lose the gunfight because of my ping?
Yeah.
It's hit the point where like my friends can watch me blank all day in the game, and I'm like, when your friends are calling out that you're blanking something, that's really bad.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where like those LAN tournaments, it can either be a huge confidence boost or it could be a real like reality check for a lot of
when
people. For
you
me,
when you
it,
realize
it-
like, oh no.
yeah, for me, it's like a huge confidence thing because like I live in the Northeast in the U.S. and just
Mhm.
for whatever reason, like the servers are just far enough away from me for like everyone to always have better ping than me. So like for LAN, it's like I get to LAN, it's like I knew that I was getting those kills. Like
Yeah, I can.
okay, it's
I feel
like
that.
one of the, like I've been saying recently, like I'm like I guarantee you, if you get me on a Halo Infinite LAN tournament, I might not die the whole tournament. Like it's actually crazy how much things just don't register for me.
Yeah, so I've been gauging it off of my CSR gain. So I was going
Hmm.
up +4, and then that night I was going up +6 all night.
Yeah,
I was like, that's a good improvement. And if
yeah,
I keep that up, +6 gets turned to +7. I think I even
yep,
got a +7 one night or one of the games. It was crazy. I was like, that's instant gratification right there.
yep,
But that's very hyper specific, obviously.
yeah,
Going up a rank and a half, that's a really good gauge as well.
yeah,
Another one that you mentioned is way too many players only use their BR,
yeah.
and you
That's like
need to be
another one.
using other weapons on the map.
Yeah,
The BR does not have the fastest time to kill.
even equipment gets
Yeah, equipment can
underutilized.
can make the difference too, except for repulse. Don't use repulse against me. That causes my game to lag. Stop. Desync. Don't do it.
Yeah, that's
But
always a great thing.
oh my gosh. But yeah, no, equipment, huge help, because people, I think they discount equipment too fast. If it's not
Yeah,
over shield and it's not camo, they're like, like, well, it's okay. Like I don't need to use this. But if you run and you know someone, you're running back, and you know someone's to see. If you have drop shield, you throw drop shield right before you get there. That is one shot they're not going to hit you, and that
yeah. I
can
mean,
literally change the whole fight.
and even going back to like I said earlier, like always asking why, and the game being built to be competitive from the ground up. It's like I talked about this the other day, where like people look to GA things way too fast. Um, if something's on the map, figure out like why it's on the map,
I think I read this tweet
and
actually.
like not only figure out why it's on the map, but like figure out like obviously this is again the game is made to be competitive, so there has to be something or some way on the map to counter
Counter.
this thing.
Exactly.
So what is that? A lot of players like don't go through that process, and then they just say Spartan tweeting to GA something, and they just like sign on with it, and it's
Except for
like
sword on recharge. That
yeah.
repulse is way too close.
Yeah,
Swap it with
that was
grapple.
a different story. I mean, sometimes things should be GA, but a
Yeah.
vast majority of things, in my opinion, should not be. I mean, I can count on one hand how many times people pick up the disruptor. It's like you don't know what that weapon is or does or how to use it, and you're telling me it shouldn't be,
Look,
or you're telling me it's useless. Like, how do you know it's useless when you've never used it?
well, it was useless because its damage over time was broken, but that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, yeah.
If
Again,
you're
some things should be fixed, but
if
figure that out first. Don't let me
exactly.
tell you.
Well, yeah, because it was deemed useless way too early, and it took us over a
Why
year to
I
figure
used
out.
it all the time. Like,
Yeah, it took over a year to figure out because I was using it. And I was like, why are they not dying? Like I put a mag into them. What is happening?
well,
And then it came
here's I
out that.
mean,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No,
like
it's okay.
even like take kills out of it again, right? Like we're not playing Slayer.
Yeah,
When you look at like the maps, because it was predominantly on like the oddball maps, right, where you can lock in a setup. Okay, well, I have this weapon that not only can I damage you, but I can damage all your teammates around you. So if your team is set up A on recharge and oddball, and I'm able to get a lot of good shots in on with a disruptor, your whole team is taking damage. So I might die, but now my team is flying in to fight a team that's half shields or one shot, and it's an easy retake.
Well, and to add on top of that, something that gets overlooked is that the shock rifle, the disruptor, and the shock grenades, whatever they're called, um, all of them, if you do damage, it takes 10 seconds for shield recharge, not 5.
Hmm.
And that is something that also gets vastly overlooked. I know I've been talking to like a lot of diamond players that just ignore the shock rifle on recharge. I'm like, why are you ignoring it? Like, because
Yeah,
I can't get the kill. And it took I would always pick it up because you're never gonna learn if you're not using the weapon.
yeah,
But it took me understanding how the perfect works with the shock rifle because it fires 3 rounds at once.
yep,
But you have to aim pretty much at the forehead of the Spartan
yep,
if you want to get that perfect. Because that last shot, if you're dead center, hits their chest, not their
yep.
head.
And I don't know what it is about the shock rifle, but the shock rifle is a really good weapon to learn how to aim with your left stick. So what I mean by that is my reticle is still, and I'm strafing my enemy or letting them strafe into my reticle and then shooting. So I'm not actually moving my reticle, like I'm not making all these
Yeah.
different adjustments. If I just let you fall into it, the shock rifle is a really good weapon to start learning how to do that.
I think it's better
And
than the S7 because of the wider
yeah,
reticle.
yeah, like I don't know, it just feels like maybe there's more magnetism to it, but that's a really good weapon to start practicing that with.
But another point of value for like the disruptor that people ignore all the time is King of the Hill. If you
Yeah,
shoot the hill, it will damage anyone inside of it
yeah, or
because of that
strongholds.
jump or strongholds. Yeah, exactly. If you
Yeah,
shoot the pad, it'll bounce and hit someone.
yeah.
And if it
That I
hits
mean,
one
that's something
person,
I
it'll
forgot
chain.
about, and then I was reminded during Worlds. I was like, oh yeah, that is a thing.
Oh, right. You
Yeah,
talk about being a nuisance. There it is right there. You're
yep,
wondering why am I taking shock damage? And then you're forcing them off the hill. Again, they have that 10-second shield recharge. They're out of that hill for 10 seconds.
yep.
Unless you're playing matchmaking and then you go, why are you challenging? You're so stupid.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, happens, but I mean, like, for just to touch on this, so anyone like looking to compete at any level really, um, I would say like always remember like, and this goes back to you want to pick the one thing that you want to work in matchmaking and use that as practice because if you're looking to compete, your goal is not to be good in matchmaking. Your goal is to be matters, and so just keeping that in mind, like you might get away with things in matchmaking that you can get away with because it's matchmaking because someone's going to challenge because everyone wants to make a play, but just keep in mind like okay, like this worked now, but I know it's not going to work, you know, in the next tournament, in the next whatever. So like don't get used to making bad habits in matchmaking.
That being said, if you're playing matchmaking with your team that you want to compete with, you will go up in rank.
Yeah,
Because at the end of the day, if you're going up against anyone who's not a 4 stack, especially not a 4 stack with good teamwork, you're just gonna steamroll them.
right.
Like I
So
can
long as I actually do have to stop you. So long
go ahead.
as you guys are playing as a team, I will
Yeah,
never
exactly.
ever
The
forget
good
this. So
teamwork.
when this game first came out, I had a group of players that we were going to team, and we were all like pretty decent, like pretty good.
Yeah.
We all knew we were good. We played matchmaking for 3 days and did not win a single game. And I was like, something is wrong here. Like, and you can apply this like with your team in matchmaking. If you are losing a lot as a team in matchmaking, change the direction that you guys are going as a team. Even if the direction you're going in isn't the right one, you're at least going down a direction and you're able to say, okay, this isn't the way to change it up.
Well, so I was about to add, I've been in a situation where I've been in a 2-man party, so just me and someone else,
Hmm.
and we've come up against a 4 stack, and they did not have good teamwork, so we just wrecked them because
Yep.
our 2 people had better teamwork than their 4.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. I
it,
mean,
it
not
comes
not every
all
four stack
down
is
to
good just because they're four stack.
exactly. It all comes down to teamwork and communication. At the end of the day, if your duo is better, you can outdo. You can
Yeah,
outdo the
absolutely.
enemy team. I just got the comment. This interview is so long, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking a little bit before this. I mean, I'm somebody who like I really got into the weeds with this stuff, and so I was coaching someone the other day, and I was like, listen, if you want to break down the psychology of how competitive Halo works, we can get into it. Like I'm here for any kind of conversation that involves breaking down the game.
And you guys will be really happy to know that Anxiety is interested in the future content that I want to make with this channel, or not the channel, with this series. And so you will likely, hopefully, see him back in the future.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
we're gonna plan some stuff for next year
Yeah,
that
definitely.
we're both excited about, and it should
Yeah.
help you both if you want to be a coach, and it should double to help you as a player as well.
Yep, for
Because
sure.
I think almost every coach is a player.
Yeah.
So I mean, we coach the games that we love to play.
Yep.
There's no doubt about that one.
Yeah, and
So
and not every, not every player is a good coach, not every coach is a good player. Like I said, that's one of the crossovers to, traditional sports, right? Like NFL is a good example. There's not a lot of ex-players who are head coaches in the NFL. Um, like I said earlier, I'm coaching a Call of Duty team right now. I don't play Call um, so they're definitely two different dynamics, but you can, excel at both
there's
if you
overlap.
put that work in.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
can be overlap. And it honestly depends on you deciding where you want to go.
Yep.
Once you figure that out, focus on it.
Hmm.
Find your passion. It's not going to be fun if you don't like it. I mean, I'll complain
Yep.
every Monday when I'm playing Halo Infinite how much I hate this game.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, why am I still booting it up? It's because it's Halo, and I love
Yep.
it. I mean, you have to think
Yeah.
we have the most unique game on the market right now because everyone is you pick your spawn. Like you are, it's
Yeah.
like it's COD where you pick your loadout, which is the same in CS:GO, the same in Valorant, or it's you find random drops on the map like you do in Fortnite,
Yep.
you do in Warzone. Halo's the only game that I can think of off the top of my head that has a sandbox that is the same every single time. You all start on the same footing.
And I'll say this too. Halo is the only game that will translate into every other game you play. Um, I've placed top 32 in Gears of War, and Call of Duty. When Mixer was a thing, I've played like at the Mixer studio, like on their main stage, in Gears of War. My success in other games is strictly because of the knowledge I've gotten from Halo. Whereas when I come back to Halo, there's not almost nothing that translates from those games that I can apply to Halo.
It's always been an interesting argument between Halo and COD, right? Where a Halo player's
Hmm.
like, yeah, I can be good at COD, and a COD player's like, oh, well, I could be good at Halo. You're right. It doesn't go the other way around. A Halo
Yeah.
player inherently can pick up COD, like formal, right?
Yep.
Formal pro COD player. I don't want to quote, but I believe he was Halo before that.
Yep. Yeah. He started with Halo.
Yeah,
Same
because he
thing with
started with. That's what I
Enable.
thought, and he went into COD.
Even
One
Crimsix started with Halo.
exactly. You want a more recent example? Shotzi.
Shotzi. Yep.
Shotzi won on
Yep.
Splice. Yeah. Uh, so Halo's one of
And
the few games that you can just pick up, move over, and go
and you
do the next
can't
one.
find a Call of Duty pro that switched to Halo and like had success. All of those players that we just named have won majors.
Yeah. I mean, Formal's the only two-game world champion
Yep.
in history.
Yeah. Unless you
So,
try to
and
make an argument for Enable because Worlds wasn't necessarily a thing back then, but even then, it's like he won a major.
yeah,
Um.
back then the majors really were. It's pretty much what we had.
Yeah.
So if you want to, I would say it's pretty comparable, so to say.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful now that we have worlds because I think it's a better format,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
definitely opens
Absolutely.
things up a lot better. But yeah,
Yeah.
um, Halo is very unique, and it's been shaping the industry for 20 years, 21
Yep.
years now. Think about when it first came
It.
out, and everything was a Halo clone.
I mean, when you look at, like I said, if you want to go into, you know Halo One, Halo Two, more so. Well, Halo One in itself, Halo One like created the FPS genre. Halo Two revolutionized. Like every time Halo had come out, it revolutionized what a first-person game was. So
until Halo
it,
4.
it's set the bar for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this is part of why I love Halo so much. It's hard to leave. And
Yeah.
I think we've all done it, but obviously I've taken breaks. Everyone does.
Hmm.
But I just keep coming back to it.
Yeah.
It's one of the best things on the market,
Yeah.
honestly.
Absolutely.
Even with the crappy servers
Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's like,
that
all
torture us
right.
so.
Like I've only had like one time where it's like I got on. It's like I have 280 ping servers, and it's like I just mentally can't deal with this right now. Like
But
I
then
just have to take a break.
I've been on a 280 ping server that felt better than like a 60 ping server.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's how. I mean,
why?
like I said, I'm in the
That's
Northeast, and like I feel better
yeah.
on EU servers than
Yeah.
US servers. It's weird.
When I have 35 ping, which is pretty much my LAN equivalent, as low as I can get, uh,
Yeah.
I always have unstable latency and rubber band
Yep.
on
Yeah. That
35, and
sounds
I'm
about
like,
right.
I'm on my servers. Why am I rubber banding now? Why am
Yep.
I feeling better at 130 than I am at 35? That's ridiculous.
Well, that's because you're playing somebody from Texas with 8. It's like, all right, that feels fair. Like,
Cozy says, I'm in Massachusetts and Texas players and West Coast players are the bane of my existence.
yep. Oh my God. You want to talk about? I live in Connecticut. I'm coaching a team in New Mexico. Anytime they scrimmed, it's like I'm the worst player on the planet. I'm going like 17. I'm just like this has never happened in my
You're like,
like.
I'm support. I will
I was
just
like,
provide cover fire.
is everyone just that much better than me? Like, it's just, then we match in like matchmaking. It's my ego is saved. like,
and then
like I
it's
am good at this game.
and then it's always like I'm always like, why? I'm strafing. Why? How are my bullets missing? I'm seeing them hit the person. Why don't I get the SK strafe? Why do they always get
Yeah. It's like, why do I have to be the one dying around the corner all the time?
it? Yep. Oh, I outplayed you. Doesn't matter. Shots don't reg,
Yep.
so you win. Exactly.
Yeah, and you don't want to be that kid that's like, wait until we're all in, because like the kid who says that too much, it's like,
You.
all right,
Oh,
bro,
you're
like you're never
okay.
gonna go to one. So
Yeah. Well, chat. Do you have any more questions? Are you guys satiated for the week? They've been loving the series. I will see because I've only had two lined up, but starting January because everyone's too busy for for the holidays still. Starting January, we'll see if we can start getting more coaches on. Especially once we get two episodes out, obviously I'll add more credibility. So hopefully we'll be able to get more people in. I know you guys are loving the Know Your Coach series. I'm enjoying it. Both coaches I've had have both said they really enjoyed it, had fun. How much
yeah.
does it cost to have anxiety in my ear coaching me all the time? That's from Cozy.
I mean, if you want a real answer, give me 1 second.
He's gonna do the math for you, buddy.
I'll no,
the
but for
The
real,
short answer is attend New Mexico
or
University, and
no, just if you're interested, you just shoot me a message. Like I said, I am on Medify. Um, for like if you're like really really trying to get better, but I mean, people who just have questions or just like interested about a specific, how to play certain situations, like I'm down to answer all those kind of questions and things like that. So,
and
short answer is you can either DM me or you can hit me up on Medify.
so speaking of coaching lessons, we're going to give one away on YouTube. Once this video is edited, I'll work with Anxiety to work it out and figure out how we're going to do it. But we'll give away a private coaching session with him. So be sure to stay tuned for that. So that way you can hopefully get a chance to improve. That's,
Yeah,
that's all we're here to do, right? Everyone's here to
that
improve.
that is my main goal. Like I said, I'm just, you know, what I think really makes me different from all these other coaches that you can hold of right now is I'm just as invested in making sure you get better as you are in actually getting better. You think about, if you're getting coaching from a pro player, it's like think about it from like their perspective. Like, do they really want to make you as good as they are? Because now you're just in the way of what they want to do. I'm
there's a lot of good players on Twitter right now that are becoming coaches. Command Station's one that comes to mind where
yeah,
she placed seventh at Worlds in the free for all.
yeah,
But she's a really good player. I'm not saying anything bad about her, but she's becoming a coach, and that's a good point. Anxiety is a coach, so
yep.
his goal,
I'm a coach first and then a player. Everyone
yeah,
else, player and then coach.
and I would say after we talked with Jagged's the same way. He's a coach first.
Hmm.
His sole purpose as a coach is he wants to see you just improve.
Yep,
And so I always, if I'm looking for someone, I'm looking at why are they doing this?
yep,
Like, are they doing it because they enjoy it? Are they doing it for money? And then what is their goal? Like, is it to teach you? Because, and I'm not saying that, since I called her out as someone doing this, I'm not saying Command Station isn't doing this because she doesn't want to teach people. But if I'm going to go to a coach, usually I'll go to a coach, someone who's currently coaching a team. Because, like, I ask my friends all the time, like, hey, can we work on this? Like, it's something I know. But if I, like, all right, it's really just not working out, I'll go to someone who does it.
hmm,
Because at the end of the day, my friends can help, sure, to a certain extent. They're not going to be as good as someone who knows how to help you.
yep, yeah, and without naming names, I've talked to a couple different pro players recently, just kind of doing research on like how they approach coaching and stuff like that. And excuse me, there are pro players who, for them, it's strictly a side avenue to make money. That's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less. It's just a quick way to make a couple bucks. They don't even try to coach. They try to coach me like once or twice a month. Um, so like just something to, like I said, kind of keep in mind. Like if you're looking for people to help you, pro players may not, active pro players, I should say, may not always be the best source to look to and go to. And I know go to first. Um, but like I said, when you just think about it from their perspective, like it doesn't make sense for them to really invest in you. They can. They might be able to give you some things that you didn't know about that will help you improve, but not to the level of going to.
That last bit cut out.
I
It
was
cut out
saying not
not
to
to the level.
like not to the level that you want to or that you're even capable to.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Thank you so
but
much for coming on.
thank you for having me. I had a
It's
great time for sure.
it's been really fun. You have great
Yeah,
knowledge. It's a wonderful conversation. I'm looking forward to future content collaboration.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Even if it's something like this, where like we just
Yeah,
do like
another
a
sit
Q&A with
down.
chat or whatever it is. Yeah,
Well, we can if chat might be if you guys are interested, maybe not super frequently, depending on what you're up for and what you have time for. We could have you on like Mondays are usually my Halo Infinite nights. So
okay,
like we could just do sit in matchmaking, just answer questions, explain things as we
yeah,
go. That
yeah,
if you guys are interested, I'm coming up with ideas on the fly. So
yeah,
uh,
yeah. I mean, whatever people, like I said,
I mean I've seen a
I
lot of good
I just
feedback on the doing the Q&A. So
yeah, yeah, that'd be fun.
yeah. So I mean, if you guys are interested in that, let me know. Um, we're just gonna keep working on putting out the best content we can to help you guys because at the end of the day, everyone wants to get better. Like I like winning, but I'm more than happy to help someone else beat me
Yep,
because if there's someone better than me, that gives me something to obtain and achieve.
yep,
It's not the same mentality that most people have, I know, but
yeah,
if I have something to strive for, it makes something so much more fun.
yeah,
I I will complain about the sweaty games. I'll be like, oh, that game was sweaty. But those are the most fun games. Let's be fair.
yeah,
When it's
yeah. We all get
49
it.
49, everything comes down to a standstill. 1v1, you have to stream. Not tonight, but tomorrow we can 1v1 goes in. Don't worry, I got you, buddy. Um, but those 49 49 games, everything comes down. You can hear a pin drop.
Yeah,
They're
yeah. I've had a couple
so
crazy
gratifying.
situations. Yep.
Exactly. I mean, I don't want
Yeah.
them all the time, especially not when I'm trying to hit Onyx, but Those are the best games.
Yeah. And those
So
are the best games to learn from too. I mean, how did we get to 49-49?
exactly.
What small thing made a difference and stuff like that?
I had a great game. The first time it's ever slowed down in matchmaking for me on live fire. We hit, I think we were 47-49,
Hmm.
and I just said, "All right, everyone, stop. We're going to hold out on C." It was a Slayer game, obviously. We're going to hold out on C, and we're going to let them come to us because they want to end the game. And we're just going to make sure that everyone's playing their life, and we have crossfire. And we managed to bring it out to 50-49, and it was incredible. The first time I've ever seen something slow down where for probably a solid 15 seconds nothing happened.
Hmm.
There wasn't anyone on our team moving. I'm sure there were people on their side doing stuff, but on our team, we were just watching and waiting for
Yeah.
comms. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, quick story. Like, this is still probably to this day the most stressful play in my entire life was I was actually at a LAN tournament. um, in Halo 5, we were playing Plaza Slayer 49, 48, 49. We just made it 49. My team was spawning blue, and I had a teammate who I knew as soon as he spawned, he was gonna just like he's one of those players where like spawn, sprint, fight someone, and I had to like physically grab him next to me and be like, "Do not push off your spawn," like because he spawned up, he started sprinting into the other team. I was like, I grabbed it, "Do not do that. Wait for them." Like yelled dirt right across from us. Yelled that at him. They still pushed us. Win 50-49. That was the most stressful, gratifying of probably my life. Like it was just crazy.
Yeah.
But
It's not always about being the fastest person.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
about
definitely
being
not.
the most calculated.
Yep,
You know, like we said, matchmaking's playing checkers, and the pros are playing chess.
absolutely.
And you hear them all the time. Like you gotta think 3 moves ahead. If I'm moving this direction, why am I moving this direction? Where can they come from? What's the most
Yep,
likely alternative? How am I going to
yep,
counter it?
yep,
So, well,
absolutely.
thank you again so much for coming on. It's been a wonderful
Of course.
conversation.
I would agree. Thank you for having me on. I had a lot of fun.
I had a lot of fun as well. I'm very much looking forward to future content together. Um,
Same.
hopefully, we can work out more coaches to have on. I might hold, I might hold this interview back for 2 weeks on YouTube, guys. Just so you know, see if I can get someone else to come in for another one so we can hopefully have it somewhat regularly, but I wouldn't count on it. We'll see what we can line up in the next 2 weeks because I'm going to put out the Jagged one tomorrow. I will finish editing it. I promise. My daughter's not sick anymore, or at least it's a low fever. And then we'll see what we can get the first 2 weeks of January. Hopefully, with people coming back, and see if we can maybe get it to be once a month to maybe twice a month sort of thing. And then to the
Yeah,
point where maybe we
yeah,
have reoccurring segments of Know Your Coach where we bring like back on anxiety and we can chat more and go in different directions, have more in-depth discussions.
yeah,
Maybe you guys submit questions to us on Twitter that we can go into as well. Um, yeah, we'll see what happens.
yeah. Whatever you need me for, I'm here.
I'm very excited. Obviously, we have each other on Discord. Um, for those who don't know, I also have my own Discord, somewhat active sometimes. Usually just put in what I'm going to play and stuff. But um, probably some of the best ways if you want to ask questions. Who knows? Maybe anxiety will join. We'll see. Crazy things happen sometimes. And then you can, maybe he'll pop in. Don't ping him. But maybe he'll pop in and answer some questions. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
But I have him on Discord, so there we will be chatting going forward. We'll set things up. It'll be fun. I'm very excited. So,
Absolutely.
all right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and raid Amphi.
Excuse me.
He's doing a marathon. For those who don't know, Amphi was a ex Halo Reach professional from Norway. So let's go see what he's doing. Thank you again for coming on. We'll see you
Of
guys on
course.
Monday with the next stream. All right, guys, have a good night. Go ahead and stop recording.